Good day and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In this episode of the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, we continue to receive information and intel on the ongoing conflict, specifically taking place within the vicinity of Dessie. So, as we know, approximately 10 days plus ago, the Abiy loyalists, the federal military, attempted a very large scale offensive against the forces of the Tigrayan army that is now inside and occupying large sections of northern Amhara region. Obviously, this offensive was extremely unsuccessful and made little headway. And then at that point in time, the Tigrayan army launched a fairly significant counterattack, pressing south from Wichale, moving south, seizing control of Haik and Kutaba, and are also pressing towards Kombolcha from the B11 highway as well. So a multi-pronged counter-offensive by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. And again, right now, the TDF is approximately, in some cases, up to 5 miles from the city of Dessie. So very, very close in terms of a possible move directly upon the city of both Dessie and Kombolcha. We had received reports while we were hearing information that there were some significant airstrikes being conducted within the vicinity of Kutaba to include the use of cluster munitions and then possible drones as well. We continue to suspect that drone use is going on, but how prevalent that is, it's unknown at this time. We suspect it's not as prevalent as the use of some of the fixed-wing assets that the federal forces are utilizing. But again, some other websites and YouTube channels had reported that Kutaba was retaken by the federal forces, by the Abiy loyalists. And on this channel, we did not report that, as from our understanding, it was a more of a sidestep to the mountainous terrain to the east and west of Kutaba to prevent its forces, meaning the Tigrayan Defense Forces, from being targeted by aircraft. But our understanding is there was the town was never actually fully retaken, and as we speak now, Kutaba continues to be in the control of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. Again, some air assets were utilized against Kutaba, which caused the TDF to move to areas where the aircraft were not attacking. But again, the Tigrayan Defense Forces remain in the vicinity of Kutaba and now control that city as we speak. And again, the fighting continues from both west of Kutaba, east of Kutaba towards Haik, and east of Haik as well, as the TDF continues to press its advance towards Dessie and Kombolcha. We continue to hear rather disturbing claims coming in from the city of Dessie and Kombolcha about the interaction that is taking place between Amhara nationalist militia forces such as Fano and the Abiy loyalists federal forces. And we have received information that would indicate that some of these disputes are becoming incredibly significant locally, on a local level. We understand that as many as a half a dozen Ethiopian federal officers were arrested by the Fano nationalist Amhara paramilitary organization. And we have also received reports that as many as 4 federal forces may have been executed outright executed in an extrajudicial killing of the federal forces by the Fano nationalist paramilitary units that are also operating within Dessie and Kambalcha. Again, there is not a unity of command between these two forces. Both forces have engaged each other in disputes that have led to outright hostilities. We also have the equation of the Eritrean army also present on the ground in various locations inside of Ethiopia. And we suspect that that elements of the Eritrean National Security Office, Eritrean intelligence, is heavily on the ground inside of Dessie, Kambalcha, and other areas as well. That is also creating a more complicated scenario in the conflict zone as well. But again, it would appear from intelligence and chatter that the Fano, the Amhara militia, paramilitary militias, have in fact executed again 4 members of the federal forces loyal to Abiy Ahmed and the Prosperity Party in the general vicinity of Dessie. So again, there appears to be a breakdown in leadership. One side wants to do one thing while the other side believes it should do something else. And when that side, meaning say the federal forces, do something that the Amhara paramilitary militias do not agree with, sometimes that results in outright fighting. And again, that appears to be intensifying within the vicinity of Dessie right now. There seems to be a very fragmented, disjointed chain of command, and that is leading to outright hostilities. There is also the struggle for resources. Many of these Amhara paramilitary militias do not possess actual firearms as of yet. And many of these forces are running around with machetes, axes, and spears, and desire to be equipped with firearms. And one of the ways that they are obtaining those firearms is through the acquisition by the federal government, by obtaining these weapons from the federal forces. And at times, this is causing also some great animosity and disdain between the two forces, as some of the federal forces do not want to relinquish its weaponry to these very unorganized militias that have in the past actually attacked the Ethiopian Abiy federal loyalists. But again, very dynamic situation going on, where we're seeing infighting, internal executions going on, and then obviously the conflict itself, where we see the Tigrayan Defense Forces continuing to press south and threaten Dessie and Kambalcha. But again, a significant amount of forces have been deployed on both sides. There are incredible amounts of fairly unorganized militia really holding Dessie and Kambalcha at this point. There's just so many of them that it is challenging for the TDF to move south and push into the main parts of Dessie, and that would obviously create an atmosphere where urban combat would take place, and that would cause even more significant casualties than what's already actually taking place. But again, right now, very fluid situation, very dynamic. Right now, in terms of who has the military advantage, it would definitely appear on the ground the Tigrayan Defense Forces have the current advantage, both in skill and at the leadership level, in terms of how they are maneuvering their forces around the north, the west, and east of Dessie Kambalcha. But at the same time, we are seeing that the federal forces, the Abiy loyalists, have somewhat of a quantitative edge in terms of the mass deployment of these militias, and at the same time, we are seeing the use of heavy artillery and then the intermittent use of airstrikes and then possibly drones as well, which is making this an incredibly chaotic situation on the ground. But again, we will continue to monitor and report the ongoing conflict. It is, again, very fluid and things could change very, very quickly. And as those changes take place, we will definitely put out another video to report on the situation. I hope everyone has a great day.